Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another exciting session on the Summer 2022 Ask Me / Hands-on Coding session. You are very welcome to this. This will be our third in the series. We've had like two previous hands-on coding session. The first one was on regression, machine learning regression. Previous one was on introduction to Kubernetes. And now we're talking on web scraping data from websites and running analysis. Okay, my name is Ajulo Christian. I'm the Assistant Program Coordinator at Hamley and also a data scientist. You're very welcome to this session. We have a few participants already. You're welcome, Kehinde. You're welcome, Solomon. You're welcome, Motayo. Abdullahi Samed. You're welcome also. Okay, before we start, before we move on, I'm just going to talk about like this session will be focused mainly on the data storytelling track. Right? Also, other track in data science or data engineering or DevOps, you can also get one or two things from this session. Okay, David, you're welcome. Aisha, you're welcome. So I'm going to give you like extra 1 minute or 30 seconds about before we kickstart today's session. So I'll allow more people to come in. All right. Okay. I guess we can start. So I'll be handling today's session. Like I said, the topic is web scraping data from websites and also running your analysis. Then in the project, you're supposed to web scrape the data. That's for data storytellers. Your project is supposed to web scrape the data, run your analysis, then give a report, a solid report of what you've done. So I'm just going to give you a brush through of simple example of what you're supposed to do. So without wasting time, let me just start sharing my screen. Before I continue, can everybody hear me clearly? Just signify.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Solomon. Okay, let me share my screen. Right. Can you see my screen? Just let me confirm if you can.
Yes, please, we can.
Okay. Like I said, the topic is web scraping in Python. Yeah, I forgot to add that. Web scraping in Python. I'm running on my Colab, not on my Jupyter notebook. Running on my Colab. So before we start, I'm just going to give a run through about web scraping and all, what it is, and if it's legal or not. So let me just start off by giving the few nitty-gritties about web scraping. So from my slides here, web scraping is the process of passing and extracting data from websites and putting it in an Excel or text file or database or a data frame, as the case may be. So as a result, automating this process is important. We want to extract product reviews from e-commerce websites. We want to extract data from a weather website or whatever websites. We can do that as far as it's legal to the websites has the privilege of you doing that, because it's not every website you can web scrape from. So is web scraping legal? Unfortunately, there's no cut and dry answer here, right? Some websites explicitly allow web scraping, while some don't. But sometimes some give you a guidance to this on if you can or not, but some websites they don't. But also, web scraping consumes several resources from the host websites. So if we're just scraping one page once, that's not going to cause a problem. But if our code is scraping like 1,000 page every 10 minutes, so that could quickly get expensive for the website owner. So in addition to following any and all explicit rules about web scraping posted on the site, it's also a good idea to follow the best practices. So some of the best practices I highlighted was never scrape more frequently than you need to. Consider caching. You know what caching is? If you don't know, you can just go and research what it is, what you scrape so that it's only downloaded once. Then you can save to a data frame or a CSV file or spreadsheet or whatever. So we're going to be web scraping using Python libraries. There are some different Python libraries. We have Scrapy, Beautiful Soup, Request, URL lib, and Selenium. But for today's session, we're going to be working with Beautiful Soup. So we will have a lot of things to do today. So I've already gone through the codes, but I'll be explaining as we go what the codes does, because I just want to make this session not too long, so it won't cause any form of, I won't bore you with talks and talks. So I'm estimating that this session should last at about an hour with extra time, like say 15 minutes for questions and all. Okay, diving in, we'll be using a library called Beautiful Soup. Okay. So first of all, you have to install the Beautiful Soup. If you don't have it already, you can just install. Since I'm working on my IDE, that's my notebook on Colab, I'll just run this code, pip install Beautiful Soup. So I already have it installed on my Colab, so I'll just move on. Hope you can still see my screen. As I'm moving on, just engage with me to know if you're still following or not. So I won't just be talking. Can you see on from this place, from what I've explained so far? Do you get me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, lovely. All right, so I'm done with this first say I installed the Beautiful Soup. Then I'm going to be importing some libraries, importing the Beautiful Soup, URL lib dot request from URL open, importing my request, and also importing pandas. All right, so the first website we're going to web scrape with, would be this website. Let me just go to the website. It's a video game website. Can you see this particular part of my screen? Tell me what you can see so I know.
Yes, video game.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so we were scraping this part of the website, this part housing this stuff, these challengers, the FGG force. So this particular column, we're going to be web scraping the details, the shipping, and all. And also, before I continue, I forgot to say this. You know, in a website, if you're familiar with web development, there's HTML, which is hypertext markup language, CSS, and JavaScript. So before web scraping, you have to be conversant with the HTML tags and all that. So, and also there's a developer inspection in Chrome, by which you can see this particular tabs, the way the website was done. So just right click anywhere and click on inspect. And voila, you see the makeup, the HTML tags such as the headers, the div. I'm not going to go into that. So later on, you should go and research different tags in HTML, the divs, the header, H1, H2, and whatnot. So from this part here, right? So like I said, I want to be scraping just this particular column. So another way to get the tags there, you can just go to the part, right click and inspect again. Notice this part is showing the class item to be item cell, which is the div class. If you don't understand, if you go back to understand HTML, you will know what I'm trying to talk about. But I'll show you the codes too. So what we're going to be web scraping, we're going to start with the container. The container tag should be standard box. Okay, item cell. So this, when I'm web scraping, I'll be calling this items class, the ID, and what's not to grab this particular data to my notebook. So let me just go back and show you. I've already written down the codes, but I will explain what they do. Instead of wasting time writing it in each cell, I just did everything in one cell. So let me just click on run. Okay, so let me explain the first line. This URL, that's the website. I just give it a variable, my URL. And I also did using this URL open, I just gave it another variable. This is a personal code I did to grab this particular URL. Then there's a code in the Beautiful Soup documentation, right? A way by which you pass this website, as you're passing the HTML content of the website in Beautiful Soup. So this particular code, what it's doing is just to grab my page. I call this page HTML, which is this URL. To grab it, this is what this code is doing. And also grabbing all the containers with the class name item container. So if you notice, like from this page here, I said the name of the container in this website. If you check clearly, you see it's called item containers. The name is item containers. Somewhere I'll show you. So the way you grab data from websites, you just have to know the tags, right? So the way this website was done, the container hosting this particular cell, yeah, it's called. They gave it item container. And each of these cells here, where these item cells are not. So I'll just show you in the code what I did. So I just gave it a variable called containers. Then I said my Beautiful Soup should find all the data within this particular container in that website. That is what this code is doing. Then I wanted to save it to whatever I've grabbed to a particular file name called products.csv. And this is a particular code on Python for you to get the data. So then I did a little function grabbing those things, like I wanted to get the brand. Okay, let me go back to the page. The brand, the title container, the product name, the shipping fee. If you go back to this page, yeah. Okay, if you notice there's a shipping part here. Let me just click on it so you get what I'm saying. Okay, this particular box, there's a shipping. This place here is the item cell, that's the name. I'm going to get this thing, the amount, the shipping, and compare. So this is what I wrote in this particular code, the brand name, the product name, and all. So this is what this code is doing here, right? Then I'm going to remove, because I'm getting the text, mind you, I'm not trying to grab the diagrams or whatnot. I'm just trying to grab the text from that particular website. So then I use a code to strip blank spaces after the text using this particular code. Then another code to combine what I've already written here, the brand, the product name, and the shipping. So just try and follow along, you understand later. Then afterwards, I printed what I've grabbed from that website. If you notice, I've grabbed this, the brand, the product name, the shipping, the brand, the product name, and the shipping. If you come back to this place, you see the first one as Rock Challenger. ASRock Challenger ARC 380 video card, the free shipping, the brand name, which is ASRock. You see it is here, ASRock Challenger, the brand name, ASRock, shipping, free shipping. So I just only grabbed that particular part from the website, then saved it in a data frame. Save it in the data frame. So what I'm doing now, yeah, I'm going to be web scraping from 3 different websites. So this is the first one. I'm just showing how I did this particular first one. So if you know, different websites have different dynamics. So as I proceed, you understand what I'm trying to say. So I've already saved it in this file name called products.csv. So I'm gonna call it to view. So I've already turned it to a data frame. So what was in that website has already been created as a data frame. Are you following along? Can I just get a confirmation?
Yes, please. We are following.
Okay, lovely. So then just do small analysis, describe to see whatever is going on in the data. So there are 12 cans, product name at 12. Top is this the code, the data at the top is this free MS ASRock Challenger. Came out 4 times. That's the particular product. Okay, so this is that for just this particular website. Just this simple line of code. I've already grabbed this data from this website. And mind you, I only took this particular column. This is an e-commerce website. So I just grabbed these details here, that 12 in number. So that's what I did for this first website. So normally what you're supposed to do after you've done this, you do your cleaning. If you have any missing data, your analysis, but I'm not going to do that. That's part of your project. That's what you do. So moving on to the next website, you see what I'm talking about. So let me just close this up. Then, so the next website I'm going to be scraping, this is the site. Let me just grab it.
Sorry, can I?
Yeah.
Okay, what if this website I just created, what if the item, what if they have like children, like they have varieties, let's say it's a chair, and the chair has like the black one, the white one, and they have like the pictures. Like if you go to, if you're if you're like trying to scrape a website like Amazon, I don't know if you understand me.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, I say if there are different types, that's chairs and all. If you notice from, okay, I've already closed the website. I just grabbed a particular container. Well, let me go back to the site and explain what I did. The way I grabbed it was, I used the HTML tag they used in the website. I don't know if you understand, you know about HTML tags, that's the div,
tag elements.
Tag elements, yes, exactly. So I used what they've already used in coding the website to grab that particular element. So if you are, say you're scraping from Amazon, yeah, and you have different products, just do what I did by inspecting that page, then looking at the tag names they used for that. That's how you can scrape that particular point. Do you understand?
Okay.
If I go on further to the next website, you get it more of what I'm trying to say. So the next website I'm going to scrape now will be a weather forecasting website for San Francisco. So if you notice, I'm going to be scraping this particular part. If you can see my screen clearly, this box here, I'm going to be scraping this. This is what I'm going to be scraping. So of course, definitely I will expect it to see the names of what they're using, producing this site. So it has a 7-day, this idea for this box is called 7-day forecast container. Then each of these boxes, forecast thumbs to, forecast thumbs to, forecast thumbs to, forecast thumbs to. So now let me go back to my code. Why I'm doing this, because what we're doing will take a lot of time. So I've already run down the codes previously, so I'll just be explaining. So instead of typing it along, so that will take a lot of time and it might get boring. So as usual, if you understand the documentation in Beautiful Soup, before you start, you like the previous one, I use URL lib now I'm going to be using request. What request does, request gets your the HTML content of a particular website, that's the URL. Yeah. So let me just run this code and I'll explain what it does. Okay, I've done that. So first of all, I just gave it a variable page to get my website. Then I use the beautiful soup, this part of the documentation, to pass the HTML page. So I'm passing the HTML. Mind you, I'm getting just the text, not pictures or whatever, just the text. So the box I said I wanted to script was the ID given to it by the website was 7-day forecast. So let me go back and show you 7-day forecast. This ID, that's the container, 7-day forecast container. So this is what I'm scripting, this particular ID. Yeah. Then let me keep on explaining. Then the items I want to forecast are also the items in class called tombstone container. Let me go back and show you, which are these tombstone container forecast. So I'm going to be scraping this particular data from here. Then there's a code in Beautiful Soup called find all. First off, there's a code called find, which can get a particular, all the data from that particular ID, just that ID. Then there's another code called find all to get all the data that has a class called tombstone container. So this is what this code is doing. This is my Beautiful Soup object, and this is what is getting everything. That's the essence of this find all. Then there's another code used to show those tags. Let me just be talking straight right now to show those tags, which is called, it's a Beautiful Soup code called prettify. So I saved my variable called tonight, that's this forecast items, what I want to get. So let me just print it so you see what I'm talking about. So if you notice, it's got what is in the website, it just prints it out for you, the way it was laid in the website, the different HTML tags and all that. So, and it's showing, like if you notice here, partly sunny, then gradually becoming sunny. Let me show you in the website. This part, can you see my screen? Partly sunny, then gradually becoming sunny with a high near 71, blah, blah. So that part I just grabbed, got the text from this particular website to my code. So this is what this prettify is doing, to show you what it has grabbed, including the class, the name, and whatever. So moving on, I just want to combine everything I grabbed. From this, my code, I grabbed all the data inside this 7-day forecast and anything having this class called tombstone container. So this code I'm doing next is just to grab everything together and try to put it in data frame. So I'll just run it. So in the websites, there are periods, the different classes are the period name, short description, and the temp. So this is what was saved in, if you notice, there's a class called short description. There's a class called period name, and there's a class called temp. That's the temperature. So that's what I did there to show everything. And if you notice, the result was today becoming sunny and high. I just grabbed those. Then another description I want to be doing from the image, I just got the full statement from that website, which is partly sunny. So mind you, this is a live website to this weather forecast website. So if you run this code later on, you might get something different instead of this partly. It will just be displaying what is currently showing at that particular time. That's the weather for that particular time. Then after that, I'm going to get the period tags, which are the today, tonight, Thursday, from this particular place here, which this period tags are today, tonight, Thursday. Is anybody following along? I don't know if I'm just talking or talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Lovely. So that particular code is grabbing this today, tonight, Thursday, and the rest. The other code I did was grabbing this becoming sunny, increasing class, and all. They are part of these classes here in the HTML parser. Then getting the short, this code is just to get the short descriptions also. So I just printed them. That's what is in the website. This is another way of showing it before I combine everything together. So I just this code script everything here. This today, tonight, becoming sunny, increasing class, and this. But this particular part is showing the detailed forecast. So it's when I'm done, it will just tell me today, this is that. I'll show you when we get to that part. Then this other code is going to combine everything together, the period, the short description, and all, to a data frame. So if you see now, I got my data frame. And there's a sweet thing in Google Colab called Beautifier. So if I click on this to convert it to an interactive data frame, you see this data frame is now interactive. This is another part why Colab is also good when running your code. It's like a benefit in using that. Okay, moving on, I'll save this data frame to this particular data to a data frame called the weather. Then I'm viewing it now. So it has already saved. So because of this, instead of me going back to scrape this website over and over and over, yeah, I've already saved it to a CSV file. So probably if I want to do my analysis later, I'll just come back and read this CSV file.
Okay, so I have a question. So you're just able to scrape the weather forecast for a week.
Yes, for that week. Okay, let me show you again. For this part, can you see my screen? For this part of the website, this particular part, that's what I'm web scraping. So you can web scrape any part in the website as far as you know their tags. There are also a way by which you can web scrape this particular image. We might get to there, but I might not cover that today. And I can also web scrape the text. And mind you, what I'm web scraping are just the text. I'm not web scraping the images or whatever's in there. So I'm web scraping the text. That's to put it in a structured data set, tabular data set. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. So this is what I just did for this particular site. Somebody was asking a question why I use request. So there's a reason why I did that. You can use URL lib. You can also use request to get the URL of the website. So both can work. So that's why I just tried the two methods. The first one I use URL lib. Then this other one I'm using request. So whichever one is your choice. Okay, then this is for this particular website. The first one I did was grabbing.
Sorry to cut you short.
Okay. What's the question?
Please, can you show us what you were talking about in relation to the question asked, the URL lib and the
request? Okay.
Yeah, this like when you explain, just be pointing at the place exactly. Thank you.
This particular code, I used a URL. Look at it here. Can you see the screen well?
Yes.
This one.
Yes, you can see.
So if you notice, I imported URL, open, and request. You can use either of them to get your URL of the website. So I knew there will be questions to that by saying if it's only request. So that's why I just did both. So
okay.
So for this first one, I used URL open to get my URL. So this is just my personal code I just wrote to get whatever I'm doing. In the Beautiful Soup documentation, this is how you do it to pass the website. Do you understand this code? So since I already saved the variable as page HTML, which is containing my URL, so this is how I got this using the Beautiful Soup documentation. And this was for the first website. Then the other websites I just used request.get. So do you understand now?
Yes.
It's a HTTP library, just as what Colab is showing you now on my screen. So it has its own documentation too. Can you see what Colab is showing now? Showing request HTTP. Okay, so lovely. So that's what I did for this tool. Then moving on to the third website, we're going to be web scraping. This one is like a larger website. So if you're scraping a particular website, normally a website, there are different sections to it. It has different links. And to represent that, you use the anchor tag, which is the A tag. So let me just scroll down to what we'll be doing for the third website. Okay, the website would be a crypto watch website. Let me just go there now. So if you notice, this is a dynamic website, yeah? Okay, there's a question. Yes, your system must be connected when we're scraping. Yes, because I was scraping live data, you must have an internet connection. If not, it won't work. So that's to answer that. So then this, if you notice, this is a dynamic website. Yeah, it has so many links, what have you. So another way to know if the links or the directories you want to scrape from a particular website, there's a code that I will show you that will help you. So first off, I'll just call this website as my URL. Then I'll give it a variable called data, which is to get this. So now I'm using the request library. Yes, I can call it library, HTTP library. Then I'm giving it a soup object just to pass the website. I'm doing this because you see why I'm doing this data on. Okay, done that. Then this particular code here is going to show me all the links in this particular website. That's the different sublinks in this website. So I'm using a for loop for link in this my soup object. That's this URL I've already passed. Find all the links, the hypertext links, and in HTML, anchor or link is represented by the A tag. So that's what I'm saying. For you to know how to scrape data, you need to know a little bit of HTML. You don't necessarily need to know CSS or JavaScript. So it's just to know the tags, the name of the tag. So by which when you're grabbing the data set, you know what you're grabbing or what not. So now this code is going to help me find the individual links in this website. So the separate links we have in this website, we have the account and login, the create, charts, assets, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm going to be using, I'm going to be going to this link, the markets link, because this website is a crypto watch website. So I'm going to be checking the markets of this crypto website. That's your Bitcoin, Ethereum, and what have you. So now I'm changing the URL, putting the description to this markets. Let me load it on. Okay, then let me go to the website. I hope we're following what I've been doing so far.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now, if you notice, this part of this website is just showing text, loads and a bunch of text. So with this particular website, we're going to be doing cleaning a lot of cleaning and encoding, decoding, changing, and what's not. So that's why I chose this particular website. So I'll show you how to do that. I know you might go and scrape a particular website, but it will give you headache when you are cleaning it. So, but let me just inspect this page. This page will not have so many tabs. Okay, like I said, you just only have the body, the HTML, the styling, and all. So let me go back to my code and show you how you can grab this particular part of the website. Calling my data, calling the soup object. So I'm going to write a function a helper function. Why I normally do this is because in Python, as a developer, DevOps, or whatever, there's this thing what we call redundancy. You don't have to have redundant code. So helper functions will surely help you instead of writing back that code to go back again and rewrite the code. Those are the benefits of using a function. So this my function here is going to convert that website, those strings and what have you, and decode it using a function, code called Unicode escape. So that whatever you're seeing here, it can clean up to be a text. Although that's just the first preprocessing stage, I'll do further preprocessing. So Going back to my code, then I run this function. I said, okay, let me just explain the function. It's called the formatter, and it accepts a string. So I said bytes the string. Whenever you see a string called ASCII, this means something. You can go back and do your research on it. I'm not going to talk about it. So just know what this ASCII does. Then return formatted. Then to scrape this data from that particular website, I created another function. If you notice from the website, there are symbols called exchange, USSD, OHLC. In fact, let me show you. Close this particular one. You see this exchange? Can you see my screen? This my cursor.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. There's this exchange, there's USSD, there's Bitfinance, there's ETH, there's Bitcoin, there's false root, and what have you. So this function I'm going to be creating, is going to help me web scrape those data in a clean format, but not too clean, but what I can process or access. So first of all, I'm going to call my function get crypto price. You're going to accept the symbol, the exchange. And mind you, in this website, there are different exchanges. There's Binance, there's what's the other called? Finance and all that. But I'm going to be getting just the exchange done on Binance from that website. Okay, if you go back to this particular website, you know what I'm talking about. Because I've done my research on it, that's why I know what I'm doing.
We lost you.
Okay, then I'm going to get the request. So I'm putting it under this variable called response. Just silence that. Then can you still hear me?
Yeah, your voice was breaking.
Yes.
Can you please come again?
Okay. Okay, but can you hear me clearly? You can see my screen now, right? So let me know.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like we lost you again.
I think your network isn't that okay, because your voice has been breaking.
Yeah, I just had a little bandwidth issue, but you can hear me now.
Yes,
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Can you also see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. So as I was saying, using this value to get the request. Then afterwards, I'm going to get the periods and the string. If you notice in the website, there's a timestamp because this is a live website showing the trades done currently on Binance from this particular website, though, cryptowatch.markets, what they've traded so far, Ethereum, Bitcoin, the different pair and all. So it's a live website. So I'm getting the strings and all from the website. So this is what this particular function is doing. Then I'm going to put it in a JSON format. If you understand a little bit of web development, JSON is JavaScript object notation. It's a way of saving, understand what it is. I won't explain much on that. In a data frame. So this is what I'll be doing. Oh, my bandwidth is misbehaving. Can you still hear me? Bandwidth. Okay, lovely. I know I'm getting that notification of internet connection. All right, moving on. This function is going to help me to grab those data for long talks and all. And from that particular website, there are different crypto that have been traded. There's BTC, Ethereum, ADA, SRP, and whatever. So I'm just going to get those details using this function I've already created, get crypto price. So I'm running that now. Put the data from the website using this function I created, my personal function. And because in the websites, each of them has what we call bitstamp. The bitstamp is the timestamp. Let me go back to the site. It's something called bitstamp. Yeah, it's there's something called bitstamp in the website. Okay, it's not showing it probably because I'm inspecting it. Well, moving on. This was just I did to just get the data. And now it has saved to a data frame in my notebook, but of course I'll convert it to a CSV file. So from those things, this code I did and all this little bit of pre-processing, decoding and all, grabbed those messy data into what we are saying now. From the site, there's close time, open price, high price. These things are there in that site, but it was in a messy format. So with these codes I did, these are personal codes. If you go on and do more research, you know on how to do this. Converted the string, decoded it and all that, changed the timestamp, what have you and all that. I got this clean data set. So now I'm going to be exporting everything to a data that's to a CSV format. If you check here, you should see them, what you've been doing so far. If you notice that.csv and all product of CSV, weather.csv. So it's already saved on your notebook because we've converted it to a CSV file, right? So moving on, I'm going to call these different CSV files. That's importing them. Then afterwards, I'm getting it. So this is now like in a data frame, that's my CSV file. Why I did it because if I was doing this session, typing down the code, it's going to take a long time, close to 2 hours. So that's why I just wrote down this code and I'm explaining it so it won't get boring and all that. You can always come back to this video. It's on our YouTube channel. So you check each of the codes individually, then you understand what I'm trying to say. So from what I just did, I just scraped this data from that particular website. I got and placed them in each data frame and CSV format. And now, if you notice here, there's the different columns: close time, open price, high price, volume, NA, and what's not. Then I'm going to assign a new column, creating a new column for each of these symbols, so that if you notice, the whole column is 6,000 rows and 7 columns. Yeah. So, and this part is showing NA. It doesn't know the particular exchange, if it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. So I'm going to create a new column representing each of the symbol because we already have a symbol in data set when I was scripting it. Then I view my Bitcoin, and if you notice there's a symbol now called Bitcoin. So it will recognize from the website what I've scripted, each particular column that the exchange was Bitcoin to show Bitcoin. The one that's Ethereum to show Ethereum, the one that's ADA, Matic, and the rest to show it. Then now I'm going to concat everything to a single, because this is just for the Bitcoin. If you notice what I did, this is just for the Bitcoin full CSV. If I view the Ethereum, this particular symbol will be showing Ethereum, but now I want to concat everything to a single data frame. And voila, we have this. So let me just put it so it will be more interactive. Okay, so now this is now an interactive page. So this is like an extended, should I call it an extension in Google Colab? So if you want to show different pages of this place, this is page 25, page 10, to show you the table and all that, you can play around with that later on. So now I'm going to be doing small analysis with it. Let me describe to see whatever it's here. Doing the describe, standard deviation, the mean, and all. I'll answer questions later as I'm going on. Don't worry. You can't hear me. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can. I can.
Okay, if you can't hear me, probably it's your network or that. I'll answer question when I'm done. Don't worry. I'm not getting distracted. Okay, so now I've just script this data. I want to do a little bit of analysis on it, right? So if you notice, there's this part called here's my data closing time. So and it's showing dates, time, month, year, and whatever. I just want to convert it to a datetime format. So that's what I did here, converting that column to datetime format and splitting the year and the month. So this is just like a pre-processing format. Then afterwards, I'm going to be doing visualizations on it. So this part of the important part of this your project, apart from the web scraping, what you need to do is, as you've gotten the data, why this is important as a data analyst is because if you're working in a particular organization that does not have clean data, or their data are in text or image, it's good for you to know how to organize or clean this messy data. Of course, that's the job of a data engineer, but some organizations might not have that structured system where you have data engineer, data scientist, data analyst. So as a data analyst, of course, they will have good data, but you still have to do your own pre-processing. So this is where this point comes into play, right? So after you've done all this, gotten your data and all, process it. So you want to visualize it. There are different formats, like your previous lesson you did using different libraries, Plotly, Seaborn, Matplotlib. You can also do it with Power BI, Tableau, like in the Premier project, a particular group did their visualization using Tableau. So that was a wonderful one. I guess that was why they had a high score in deep learning. Okay, I'm going to do a simple visualization. Let me just explain this code before I run it. I'm importing Matplotlib ticker, the dates and all that. So if you go back to the documentation of Matplotlib, you know what you want to do. There are lots of things in these libraries. Why we don't really know what to do is because we've not gone back to the documentation. Documentation is very, very important. Just go back and read what this particular thing is saying. That's how you can get whatever I want to do for a particular project, a particular thing, whatever. So I'm going to be importing Plotly. This code is going to enable me to interact with this Plotly visual I'm going to create, the importing non-place patterns, Seaborn, Matplotlib, and whatnot. Then this particular line of code is what I will use to create my visualization data, setting the style. That's this an SNS Seaborn, creating the title, the label, and all that. So I'm not going to explain much about that. So you see the visuals. Okay, from this code, it's just showing me from my data the crypto prices. That's the prices that are higher, the highest to the least. The most here is Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin is the highest crypto price currently. Then there's Ethereum, ADA, USDT. Although it's data got it from this particular website, so it might not be that accurate to real life data now. So this visualization just got this for me. Then I'm going to show you how to make visualization using Plotly, but I'm checking the mean performance of everything. So this is just a code I already wrote down. So if you notice, all this code would have taken time if I'm writing it line by line by line. We spend too much time. So that's why I just wrote down this code. Now, why is my notebook loading? Okay. So I'm going to run this. You see an interactive graph. Plotly. So this is showing the main performance of everything in this data set. That's the main prices and all. And it's interactive. You see the closing price, the high price, each data. So the closing price of BTC currently using this data is showing $40,000. The low price is $40,119 and all that. That's for the Bitcoin part. And this one is showing for that of FTM. So if you notice, this is an interactive diagram done with Plotly. But another thing is that after you've done this, your coding and all, if you're hosting this notebook on GitHub, GitHub will not view this interactive format like this, except you are using what we call NB viewer, notebook viewer, a separate extension. So this code just showed me this interactive formats of all the admin performance of each of the separate coins. So with that, we've come to the end of how you web script your data from different websites. Then what I just did is just showing you how to web script the data. But what you're supposed to do in your project, this is just the first part. You web script the data. The second part, you have to clean your data if it's that messy or not or whatever. And afterwards, you do your analysis to get the insights you got from your data. Then you create your you write your reports, because you did report writing in the previous course, right? So this particular way is just to show you how you will script data, because some places were saying the lessons there didn't entails which of the library to use or which on how to work with data. And if you notice, I use Beautiful Soup library hosted on Python. There are other libraries you can use. Let me just go back. There's Selenium, there's Scrapy, then this request and URL IB. I just use this to get the URL. That's what these two are doing, the request and all that. So Beautiful Soup is a library used for pulling data. I don't know if I explained this when we started. It's a library used for pulling data out of HTML and XML file. Selenium is quite advanced. I would say if you want to scrape probably images or whatnot, you probably use Selenium. But for text and all that, you can also use Beautiful Soup, I guess, but I didn't cover that if you want to scrape chart images. But majorly for HTML and XML, that's hypertext markup language. So that's why I use Beautiful Soup. And if you notice the way I scrape them, you must get the ID from the website. It's either the ID or the class or the div or the name. If you don't do that, you cannot get the data. So that's what I did following all this. So is there any question? I know there will be lots of questions from here. Moving on.
Sorry, can you just show us how you can scrape a table? Because I was trying to scrape a table from a website and I was using the ID, but I was getting an error. I wasn't getting the result I wanted.
Okay, getting a table. If you notice, okay. This first one, table. Yeah, like this first one we did this. Okay, I've closed it. Let me open the website. It's like more or less like in a table format, because they are like the same way you get it. Yeah. If you go to that website you're talking about now, that you are trying to scrape the table, you can only scrape, if I understand it clearly, you can only scrape the text from it. And after you scrape, after you scrape those particular texts, you now create your own data frame, but everything will still be the same format from the website. But you just need to know the tag of that particular table in the website. Do you understand? So if you just follow this process I did by inspecting the page and knowing what particular ID they use in creating that, because in a website, there is the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. So that's what you need to do for that. So if you can just go back and try to inspect the particular ID or the class or whatever, that's how you can web script that particular table. Okay. Have I answered the question, Chiso? Anyone that asked that question?
Yes. I'll go back to it.
Okay. You just have to go back to it and understand using this method. If you still don't get it, of course, Google is your friend. There are lots of resources online. You can just search on how can I web script a particular data. You see different answers on Stack Overflow and all that. I know the resources you see are so numerous. Just going to
yesterday, oh my goodness. Oh geez. I literally, like, I spent my whole day, almost my whole day, trying to like scrape from the website. First of all, there was a project I wanted to do, but I wanted to use Scrapy. But then I felt like it might like take me too much time. Then I switched to another one. Then for me to just scrape a table from a website was taking me time, seriously. And I tried to Google and I tried to use Stack Overflow. So I was getting insight of how I can do it. But then when I want to do it, the ID is not working. I don't know. But then I'm going to just try and use this method that you just taught us and see if it's going to work.
Excuse me.
Okay. Okay. Yes, before I get to you, please just hold on. That's why I said the way you get that, yeah, Chisom, is just to know these HTML tags and formats. How I did it, get to the website, inspect the website, the particular link, because for what I just web scripts, yeah, from those other pages, I just picked a particular portion I wanted to web script, looked at the ID and called it. Instantly, you get it. And also sometimes, even if you are web scraping a particular website and you're using an ID, if that ID is not functional, you throw an empty data, it will not just show what you're supposed to see. You get, so just for you to try and figure out and look closely, you know how to go about it. Yeah. And also, before I get to somebody that's asking another question, let me just get on the question on the chat. We're saying, how do we install these packages? You can go on the documentations of these websites, of their websites. You know how to install it. Like Beautiful Soup, just pip install Beautiful Soup 4. I don't know if you can see my screen. That's how you do it. So someone else was asking a question. You can just unmute yourself.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this session. It's not a question per se, because I want to give a comment on the scripting table that lady was talking about. So I've been trying to scrape about 4 tables from one website, but there's one particular table that's giving me a problem. I just want to tell her that sometimes I tried using ID, it didn't work, but then I used title when I was able to get the table. So instead of using ID for the table, sometimes like one ID for 2 of them, ID didn't work. I used title and I was able to get the table. So that's what I just want to say.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that solution. If you notice from my code, what I did, just try and look closely. The first one I did, I got it using an ID called the div ID, and I used a class. Then moving on to the other one, where is it? I used ID for this, and I used the class. So sometimes if you use an ID you saw in the website, that's just what I said just now. There are some websites, the ID, if you call it using the ID, it will throw an empty data frame. That's what I said before. Solomon just gave that solution. So if you notice that is not working, from the same website, if you inspect it, you see there are IDs, there's the class or whatever. Just try and script that particular, if it's on a container or a div or a H1 tag or a P tag or whatever tag it is. That's how I can just play around with it. So just try and know what you're doing. You definitely get it. So any other question pertaining this? Any other question? Okay, let me just stop sharing my screen for now. Okay. Let me check on the chat. Okay, you're asking a question on how, okay. How do you web script data from Twitter? Okay, Twitter, Facebook, and all that. Okay, it depends on what, like I said, okay, I've already stopped sharing my screen. Like I said, there are some websites that don't give you privilege of web scraping their data. So first of all, you need to know if that website will allow you to web scrape your data from the websites, because it's not every website you web scrape data, no. So this website I just scrape data from allow access for you to web scrape data. And also for a particular, I know you can also web scrape data from Twitter. No, there are different APIs that you can use. Also, there's this new thing in Power BI, that's Power Automate. If you know of all these Power apps in Microsoft, yeah, you can use Power BI. Power BI can also scrape data. If you don't know, you can do more research on that using Power BI, and also different Power apps on the Microsoft Power Platform. Yeah, so just Google is always your friend, like I say. If you want to web scrape from that from these different websites. You can research how can you do this. So there are different libraries you can use, not just Beautiful Soup. There's Scrapy, there's Selenium. Selenium is like a more advanced one you can use. There are different APIs you can use. Just play around online. You surely get these different libraries you can use to web scrape those data. So I hope I've answered that question. And mind you, even if you do all this, at the end of this, some websites will not give you access to web scrape your data. Then why those that will give you access to web scrape the data? You should not be web scraping tons and tons of data subsequently. Like, for example, you're scraping 1,000 rows and you're web scraping that data every 10 minutes. It's really, because those websites, they spend resources on it. So as you're doing that, you're even expending their resources on those websites. So that's, first of all, you need to understand the basis and the regulations about web scraping. So that's what I'm going to say about that question. So any other question, you can just signify by using the hands emoji, then I'll meet you and ask your question. Any other question? If there's none, let me just give a brief explanation about what you're supposed to do for your project. Like I said, first off, you have to web scrape data from any website of your choice. One. Then also you have to definitely download this data you've gotten, preprocess it, whatever way you want to preprocess it, whatever analysis you want to do. Like this, okay, let me see if I can start. Okay, now I'm to share my screen. Like from this different websites I scraped, like the last website that contains tons of data, I can do a lot of analysis on that data that can take a full-blown project. So it depends on what you want to do, on how quickly you can get insights from it. Then after that, you write your a project the product of how you carried out this analysis, what you got the insights. Mind you, what you have to submit, let me make it clear. Mind you, what you have to submit, yeah, is the codes, like this code I just did on my collab, containing how you scraped your data, how you worked on it, the analysis you did, the insights you got, and whatever. So it should be on your notebook to be submitted on your GitHub. That's to upload on your GitHub profile, then you submit the link. Then also for the project file, that's the technical writing part. Yeah, you can submit any file, be it PDF or Word document. It can be PDF or Word document. So when you are submitting using the link, yeah, that's the assessment form. You see on how to submit this. There will be a place for you to submit your link, and also a place for you to upload your file as your document. So this is how you're supposed to do. Because in the previous lesson, we were taught on how to do technical writing and all that. So I'll get to your comment, give me a minute. So you have to do your code, write your codes on what you did, because you cannot just submit your project file without submitting your GitHub link. It will be as if you copied or downloaded the particular project which was already online. That will be detrimental to you. Your grade won't count or whatnot. So that's for that. Abiodun, you can ask a question. You can ask a question. I've unmuted you. Joy, you can ask your question. Okay, if she doesn't want to ask. Solomon, you can ask.
Okay, we have to submit GitHub link. Is it
Yeah.
that all our code must be in one notebook? Can we have multiple notebooks?
Multiple notebooks. It's possible your codes can be in a particular notebook. It's best you put it in a single notebook. Because what I'm saying, that, okay, let me explain clearly. Just what I just did, if you notice, I was scraped from 3 different data, and I saved it to a data frame and a CSV file. So I can carry out my analysis on those different data I've already saved in this my notebook, just this single notebook. Then if I want to write the project, that's my technical writing on what I just did, you can do it in a Word document or a PDF file, but everything can just be in a single notebook instead of splitting it. You understand? Or probably when you're writing your code, you use different notebook. There's a way you can concat every of those codes in a single notebook and then submit, even if, or definitely you must have to run it so we'll see the result of what you did. Because if you are submitting a notebook and the attributes are not shown, it will also affect your score. So let me just let that know. Because previously, okay, let me put this clear. Previously, some persons just submit notebook without showing the attributes, just showing the code. That will reduce your score. You might not even be graded. So I'm just letting this clear. Whatever notebook you're submitting, make sure the attributes are shown of what that your code is doing. So can the judges or the people grading this cannot just assume this is what this code is doing. Do you understand?
Because I was thinking,
Okay.
I'm scraping multiple tables for project I have in mind.
Okay.
Multiple tables. I was thinking I will use one notebook for web scraping and then maybe export them to CSV, then plug them in another notebook. I don't know if that makes sense.
It also makes sense, but what I'm saying now, yeah, if you're using a particular notebook for web scraping, solely for web scraping, then you save the CSV, the data to a CSV. You want to use another notebook. You can also use that particular notebook. Since you are saving that CSV in that 5 parts, it will surely be in that same 5 parts.
All right, thank you.
Do you understand? So to save any form of whereby you want to get your full grade based on start looking for your different codes, just put them in a single notebook.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Chisom, you can ask a question.
Okay, are we getting the Google Colab notebook that I used?
Yeah, somebody was going to ask that question. Okay. No, I'm not sure you'll be getting this.
Oh, wow.
But the video is already on our YouTube channel. It's streaming there live on YouTube, so you can always go back there. What I just did is I didn't do any serious thing. I just did some of them were my personal codes, right? Some of them are the codes I just did. All these things, they are already in the documentation. That's why I say it's good to go back to the documentation so you know what to do. But I might change my mind to drop the notebook, but I'm not assuring or promising that we'll share the notebook. You understand?
All right. Thank you.
Okay, Joy, you can ask your question now. Can you unmute? Okay, good.
Okay. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
All right. My question is, this particular project you're talking about, is it for this stage?
Yes, it's solely for this stage. Haven't you gone through the lesson? If you've gone through the lesson, you'd understand what we're doing. It's just for this part.
I've actually gone through, but I was a bit lost about everything. So that was why I decided to ask. And another question is, so are we free to use, apart from the tools mentioned on the material given for the web scraping, are we free to use any other one of our choice?
Yes, of course, you are free to use whatever library or API you want to use in web scraping. That's why I said it's like a freelance project as an open source. Whatever way you want to scrape your data, so far you show on your codes how you got it, the analysis, the process you did, the process thought and all that, explaining this is what you did. Then in the project as you're writing your technical writing, explain how you got this visual, this is what I did, this is what I got from this visual, this is the insight I got, so and so. Like what I did is Bitcoin is the highest here in today's particular date. This is the weather forecast I got, blah, 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 blah. So that's just how you process it. It's solely for this stage, that's in data storytelling track. It's like a combination of what you did in your previous lesson. So this is where you implement it. Because if you notice in previous lesson, you didn't submit any project or codes, so just like a quiz. But in this stage, you also take a quiz. If you've in the platform, you notice there's a quiz also. So there's a quiz and then there's this, what do you call this project? So do you understand clearly?
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. And also to reiterate, the deliverables are your quiz on the platform, your GitHub link, that's a public repository that you can access. You can access it that's a problem, then your file, your project file, which can be PDF or Word documents, you will see how you submit them in the assessment link. Okay, Chisom, you can ask a question.
Okay, sorry, I just remembered something right now. So what if when you're working on this project and you have to you are going to use another data that is not script from website, maybe like a CSV file, right? So is everything going to be script?
I understand the question.
Okay.
You are saying, for example, you script a particular data, then to continue analysis, you want to import a different data. There's different CSV file.
Yes,
right?
yeah, there's a different data that I might need, and then the website where I'm going to get it, they do provide it in a CSV file format. They do update the link to the CSV file.
Okay, they updated it to their personal CSV file.
Yeah,
okay,
it's in their repo.
Okay, if that's that, yeah, I'm not sure you're allowed to do that. That's why you're not allowed. You are surely allowed to do analysis gotten from what you script. The essence of this is that sometimes, yeah, working in a particular organization, you might be asked to go to this particular website. That's the company, probably the company's website, and they'll say, okay, since you are the data analyst, get insights from this website. That's if it's a e-commerce company. So you have to script those data. Sometimes they might not have a data warehouse linking or a data pipeline sourcing this data to that particular CSV files you're talking about now. So the essence of this is just to web scrape it. Whatever data you web scrape, it does not necessarily mean that you do a full-blown, heavy, complex stuff. So far you did the nice process, you web scrape the data, you did your code, did your processing and analysis, then you provide a sweet report on the insights you got from it, clearly arranged so you have a maximum score. So it doesn't necessarily mean you do serious combination and all that. Do you understand? If you want to do serious combination, you can do that, but you must use the data you web scrape, not adding a foreign data. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I do understand.
That one was somehow. Okay, Solomon, you can ask a question.
Okay, thank you. I just remembered when you mentioned quiz, I said I would ask. I didn't remember. Yeah,
okay.
Since we're not giving the text, what should we expect from the quiz? I mean,
are you asking for wait, Anasa, are you asking for a spoiler alert for me to give you a spoiler alert or I don't understand?
I appreciate spoilers, but my point is what I'm just trying to find out is, I mean, okay, if you look at our week one, we had structure, we had text, we had materials that we read, and okay, I know that this is, even if I have to do deeper reading, there's a structure. Now you're asking us to web script any data, web script any website, use any library. Are you going to now, maybe I use Beautiful Soup, what if I see questions on script? I didn't use that. You understand? That's what I've been thinking about. So what should we expect?
Okay. You would expect what you saw in the lesson. Let me just leave it like that. Just expect whatever you see in the lesson. That's what you expect. So I'm not giving any further spoiler or telling you what you see in the quiz. Just go on it. You see whatever you see it. That's just what I'll have to say about that.
That means I will have to go
and if you notice, mind you, sorry to cut you short. If you notice in the lesson, apart from it having a separate order structure that has different lessons, there are explanations on it too. So
okay. I did not think that would be the first one.
Okay. Interesting.
All right, there's no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, who else is raising their hand? Chisom, you have another question?
Oh no, sorry, no.
Okay, lovely. Okay.
I have a question, please.
Okay, shoot.
Okay, yeah, like you said earlier that some websites have restrictions. They don't allow, that is, they don't allow web scraping. So how can we detect a website that has restriction? Like how can we get to know that this particular website does not allow web scraping?
Okay, to answer that, let me share my screen. I wrote that in my, okay, instead of sharing, let me just explain it for you. There's no simple answer to that, yeah? But let me just see if I can explain it. Okay, there are some websites that explicitly allow you to web scrape, while others forbid it. But sometimes on websites, they will offer clear guidance on one way or the other, if you can web scrape or not. Some, they won't say you clearly. So there's no clear way of you knowing. But if, for example, you want to try web scraping for a particular website and you see that it's not working, you know that you don't have access. In fact, before you even start, you see that you throw this code will throw an error to say access not granted or whatever, what have you. So sometimes the websites will show you, they will put it in their terms and conditions in their whatever in their website, while others they will not. So there's no two ways, or there's not clear way for you to, no clear guidance on how, if you can web scrape it or not. But there are some best web scraping best practices, which is you should not web scrape more frequently than you need to. For example, what I just did now, I web scraped different websites. So whatever I web scraped, if that website is not like a live website like this crypto one that the data changes, if it's just like a normal e-commerce website that have their standard products there, as I've saved it and converted it to a data frame, I've already saved it to a CSV file. So whatever I'm doing, I can always go back to that. So instead of me web scraping it again, so because that is affecting the resources of the website. And also there's another thing called catching the content you've already scraped. You can go and research what catching is, CACHING. Then also, you can also build pauses into your code using functions like time.sleep. I didn't do that in this particular code. There are some heavy web scraping you'll be doing, something that is web scraping concurrently, like every 1 minute. You can always put like a function that would make it to stop for a particular time, so that to not overwhelm the servers, because this website, they have servers too. So because as you're web scraping it, you are affecting the server of the website, because you're using requests. If you notice from the code I did, I got it using a request library. So that request is getting the data concurrently. So with that, you are overwhelming the servers of the website. So do you understand now?
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So any other question with, wow, an hour, 17 minutes. So if there's no further question, yeah, I guess this will be the end of today's session. To reiterate again, so as not to have anybody missing what we're supposed to do, you have to submit a GitHub repository housing your code, a public repo, and the code should show attributes, not just the code. We cannot guess what that code is doing, and there's nobody will start running your notebook for you. That's that. And also, you do the quiz, and also you write a report of whatever findings you got. It can be in a Word document or a PDF file. To make it look lovely, you can convert it to a PDF document. So you submit using the assessment form on the platform. You see where you put all your details, and make sure you're putting the right Harmony ID. If your ID is wrong or misplaced or whatever, you lose all the score or grade for that particular stage. So I hope you understand clearly, and I've tried to remove any form of confusion this particular stage might have. So, and I hope you enjoyed this session. And thank you everyone for joining. If you enjoyed it, you can just say something that you enjoyed. Or
Yes, we did. I did enjoy it.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you very much.
So much for taking our time to
Thank you.
post you over that. Thank you.
Okay, thank God. Thank you. I didn't bore you with so many talks and all that. Okay. Also, in this session, the next one on Friday, we'll be having another session that will be relating to the data scientist track. We'll tell you further information will be passed on the announcement channel. So we plan on doing this concurrently for different stages. Like the previous one we did, the first one was for data science and data engineers, that's in stage B, because they're doing quite the same course. So for this stage C, we've handled the one for data engineers, which was done on Monday. Today for data storytelling track, and on Friday will be for data science track. And also we might be having labs too for the DevOps track, because in this stage they are doing what we call labs, and theirs is quite intensive and all that. So whatever thing we're doing, you surely get the info in the announcement channel and also your separate track channel in your data storytelling track or science track or engineering track or whatnot. So thank you very much for joining me in this session. My name remains Julo Christian. I'm the Assistant Program Coordinator and the Data Scientist at Amoye. I'm reaching you from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. So thank you very much once again. See you next time. Take care.
Bye.